Hello Mayhem Makers, I'm Mindy with Quilting Mayhem, and today we're going to work on the Christmas tree block for the Christmas Sampler Sew Along. I will show you once again how to use the TriRecs ruler to make the main body of the trees and the background for the trees, and then just the basic steps of how to put it together. So let me change my camera angle and I'll be right back. Alright, so you can see I have all my pieces already cut. So you have a 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, and 6.5 triangle for your trees. You need 2 of each, plus your background kind of half triangles, and then the sashing pieces, your 2 pieces that'll make the tree trunk, and then there's kind of borders that'll go down the side. I'm going to show you once again how to do the triangle in the background, since even though I cheated, we'll show you in case you haven't watched any of the other videos and this is the first one you've decided to work on. So let me clear my space. Now keep in mind, when you're going to cut your triangle, you're going to need your square to be bigger. So if you want a 2.5-inch triangle, right now I'm working with a 3-inch square. That way, while my height is only 2.5 inches, my width at my base is actually larger. So my general rule, start about 1/2 inch bigger and you should be fine. So I'm lining up the 2.5-inch line of my TriRecs ruler on the bottom of my square, and we're just going to trim. Nice thing about this, if you were trying to get a particular design out of a fabric, you could lay it down and it's clear, you'd be able to see it and focus on it in your triangle. But for this one, I'm just using this plain grunge. Also keep in mind, when you go to your sewing machine and you go to sew your background onto it, this flat side is always going to be on top. So when you put your first background triangle, keep that flat side up, and this point is going to go over the top. So you're going to have little, what I call dog ears, sticking out on both ends. So if you accidentally turn it when you go to the machine, it will not turn out and you will not be happy. So keep that in mind when you take it to the machine. Now to do the setting for the background, remember you need mirror images. So I have 2 pieces of the same fabric. They are wrong sides together. So the plain is on the inside, got my nice sparkly part outside. Once again, this is a 2.5-inch square. We're doing a 2.5-inch setting triangle. So there's going to be a lot of extra. So you could even do potentially probably a rectangle. It wouldn't have to be square, but I actually will be able to get more than one if I could use going the other direction. Make sure you also cut off this little notch on the left-hand side. They do matter when you go to line things up. So when you, this one goes on this side, line it up, you'll have this flat end that you're lining up on the bottom, which helps make sure that you get your dog ear in the right length so that everything will come out flat when you're done. So you'll have one for each side. You have your little mirror images, and then extra if you need them for later. So that's all you do for your 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, and 6.5-inch triangles. 2 of each, because you're making 2 trees. So all you do is take them to your machine. I sewed the right sides on first, pressed them open, and then the left side, and I've cheated today and I already have some of them done. So as you can see, I press my seams open, very common for me. If you're pressing only one direction, remember, press to your dark side. This is a dark background. You would press out to the black. If you're using a light background, then you want to press into the green. But because with these blocks you won't really be lining anything up, you don't have to worry about whether or not those seams are going to line up. And one of my treetops has disappeared. So we're just going to fake it for now. But that's what you'll have. So you'll have 4 of these lovely trees, and then start lining up your sashing for each block, 1 on each side, and then go to your machine and start sewing those on. Make sure if you're using the glittery sides up. Do those, Your stem or your tree branch trunk is very simple. Your green's in the middle and your background square on each side. And look, I found my little guy hiding. So we'll definitely add sashings for those. That's not the right one. Easy peasy. These guys, put them together. So I'm going to take this to the machine and we'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So as you can see, I took the triangles and added their side pieces and then just did them one row at a time to get all the tree pieces connected. The last step for this block is we're just going to put the top and bottom sashing on and then the right and left hand side sashing. So pretty simple. We'll take it to the machine and be right back. And so there we have our happy little Christmas tree all ready to go, nice and pressed, got all our little sashing. Just make a second one and you're good to go. So until next week, happy stitching.